I'm headed out to Jefferson County, Missouri to a property that has history going back further than I can find maps for. There's the foundation of an old schoolhouse on the property. The school was donated to the school district in the mid-1800s, somewhere around 1860. And then I'll be headed to the farm field. The farm field is where I found a shield nickel, several musket balls with the screws still attached, and a lot of lead splatter. I think they used to pour musket balls there. I also found raw lead or galena and big old hunks near where the lead splatter is. So I think they used to process that out there. I found, like I said, several flat buttons out there. The flat buttons had enough information on there to give me an idea that this dates back to the late 1700s. There's old fallen down log cabins on the property, as well as some houses that are hard for me to date. I haven't gone back into any old plat books or anything like that, but I used to think that they were early 1900s, 1930s, give or take, and then they're unoccupied, obviously. But one of the walls ended up falling in, and I could see that it was a log cabin construction that just got siding put over it. So that's another spot of interest that I'll be headed to. So I'm gonna carry you guys around with me, and I'm gonna pop up some finds and put them on camera and see if we find anything besides junk today. Well, I'm out here. See a little bit of the old property behind me, old chicken coop or something like that. It's a not super old house right there, and that's not the one that I was talking about that had the fallen in wall or anything like that, but old maps have told me that there is there's a house over here. Looks like there's a pond right there. That might have been part of it. But what we're headed to today is down there. We'll link up with the old trail that went to the schoolhouse and take it right over. So this is what we've been working with today. I'm at the old school foundation. I came down what I think is the original road, which links up to maybe the original road, turned into a logging road. It's kind of hard to follow sometimes, but when all the leaves are down and it's cold, it's a little bit easier. But here's our old foundation. It's always looked to me like most of the construction fell into the foundation. I haven't had to pick up a lot from around the edge. Every once in a while I take a little bit and throw it into the middle, since that's where the bulk of it was to begin with. But I mean, you can see some old cars over there, or parts of them. You see the old wellhead. You know, just various pieces of trash sitting around. It's hard detecting, but the history's here, so you know, I like to give it a go from time to time when I'm out near this area. But I'll eventually head that way to the farm field after I've spent a few hours here. I've got all day. Spend a few hours here and then head to the farm field and try my luck out there. But this is what we're working with right now, so wish me luck. And I've dug 3 holes already. Some kind of a steel strap, a cast iron pipe, and shotgun shell. So I'm up and going, and I'll let you guys know the first time I find anything halfway interesting. Did you guys ever notice that there's 2 kinds of metal detectorists in the world? There's the ones that lay their detector on the ground, and there's the ones that stand it up. And I'm actually a stand it up kind of guy, but as you can see, this place is really rocky, and on a place this rocky, I can't get my shovel to seat well. And when my shovel doesn't seat well, man, I'm a terrible cameraman. I complain out loud to YouTubers all the time about their terrible cameramanship, and I'm not doing any better right here. But I am chasing The heck am I chasing? Uh-oh. No, all right, what I'm chasing. Oh, that's what I'm chasing. A bullet. Modern bullet rifling and all. All right. I'm back at the old schoolhouse, a little bit closer to the foundation now. And I've been digging a lot of trash. And that's a pretty decent high tone here. If this were a park, it would be about a dime. So let's go ahead and see what we got. It feels a little bit bigger than a dime, but we're gonna check right about there. Let's set the detector down and see if we can dig it one-handed. I'm new to this, so let's give it a whirl. It was, I don't think so deep. So, let's see. One thing I had noticed about this spot is that it seemed to be a favorite place to dump things for a plumber. I got a lot of cut pieces of copper pipe and things like that. So I don't know, those all ring nice, and so we're gonna see what this is though. I spend the bulk of my time, because it takes so much time to get to where I'm at, just under an hour. So I spend the bulk of my time detecting parks. And so my pinpointer is on vibrate mode because I'm cautious of messing with people. People don't want to hear a bunch of beep, beep, beep before I go off and dig high tone crap. Well, here's something that at least I don't find every day. Nice loud high tone, real near the surface. Anybody guess what that was by looking at it? It's a lightsaber. First one I've ever found, so I'm pretty excited. The laser thingy isn't coming out anymore, but I might try and rehabilitate it and see if I can't get it working again. And this one has a maker's mark on it, Barney and Berry, trademark, made in the USA. I never knew that they made lightsabers in the USA, so that's pretty exciting. Good find right there. All right, guys, I had a, what was it, 43, 44, decent high tone, small, probably one of the best tones I've had all day. And I think it's either a button or my first coin of the day. I have not looked at it. Actually, it'd be my first coin for this whole place. I found a couple cool relics here, but never a coin. I don't feel a shank. Wouldn't be surprised if it were just a memorial, given that this place has been visited over the years. What will make me cry is if it winds up being a shield. And this side is smooth. It's obviously the size of a penny. And, oh, is that Mr. Abe? Give it the old pants rub. So I saw Mr. Abe poking through, maybe right there. I am going to clean this up a little bit off camera, and I'll be right back. If I can get this thing to focus. Looks like that's Abe's head right there up against my index finger. I have never in my life found a small cent that was so thoroughly smooth. But we're going to call this a wheat penny and keep going. Look at this. The strangest things you find out wandering the woods with a metal detector. Heart-shaped, not precious. That post isn't curved, but I'm assuming that means it's an earring. It's some kind of tin or something like that, but you know, at where we're at, where I'm at, it's poor country, would have been poor back in the day, and so they weren't going to be walking around with big old silver earrings, but some little girl or maybe a teacher headed to school, because I'm up further away from the school on the road now, getting ready to head to the field, and I Just got this low signal, I think 20 on the legend, and found this about a ½ inch down. Pretty wild. I finished up on the other side of the property a little bit ago. I found a couple things that I didn't bother filming because they're in really trashy areas, but I'll show you those on the wrap up. And now I'm on the other side of the farm. I'm gonna head down to the farm field, eat some lunch, and then get started down there. I'll film the old farm road on my way in. It's one of my favorite places in the world. Been coming out here for 15 years, maybe 18 years. The landowner's a really good friend and lets me do anything that I want out here, so I hunt and fish, and I've camped a couple times. It's just one of my favorite places on the planet. There's where we're headed up there, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it after I'm up there and get started. Well, I've just done my first hole in the field, and it was some iron garbage. I've switched to my big coil. I parked down there. You see this is a big, I think it's an 80-acre field. Sorry about the wind noise. My Jeep's pretty well camouflaged out here, but the guy that sprayed for the farmer this year was kind of a letdown. He left a big chunk right here unsprayed, and it's like my hot spot. And that's a big bummer for me, but you know, that far side is all right. This cut through is okay, so there'll still be more stuff to find. But aside from finding some old relics and some bullets and coins out here, this place probably, I'm gonna go off of something like a amateur but really knowledgeable arrowhead hunter told me one time that I met out here. He said this place was probably a settlement, and he was saying that based on the fact that he was finding a lot of pottery, and he said that the only time he ever finds this much pottery in one place is when they lived here for a while. This place right over here, let's see, where am I pointing? Right about here, there's a little hump. It's kind of hard to see, but I'm pretty sure that's where they spent a lot of time making their arrowheads, because there's just napping material all over the ground over there. And I guess this unfortunately predates me a little bit, but predates me being out here. I guess this field is loaded with arrowheads, but the farmer that the property's leased to started doing no-till drill about 10 years ago. And since he's not tilling anymore, it doesn't turn up the arrowheads like it used to. I found maybe 2 out here ever. But apparently in its heyday, it was quite the spot. And that's when people were finding all the pottery and things like that. So anyway, legend, iron in the hole #1. Just got started, had my lunch. Let's go. All right, I got the first high tone of the field. I don't know where it's at yet. I think it's over here according to my, yep. Oh, it's a coin. Oh, looks like maybe a modern nickel, but let's check it out. It might be a button. Oh, it's a button. Oh, look at that. Shank's there, but bent over. Don't see any writing. No. Nothing fancy on the front, I do not believe. Here, let's help our focus issues. But that is a flat button with shank, bent over shank. That is a sign of age, and that's what I want to keep finding here. Let's find something cool. Lure again. Well, this might be shaping up to be a lucky 30 or 40 seconds because they're out of sight now, but the pair of bald eagles that I love seeing out here just flew over the river. And right after that, I got a high tone in here. And I think I moved it. It's in this clod, I think. No? Under it? Oh, right there. It was ringing up 46 to 48, I believe. Let's get the shovel out and see what we're looking at. Switch hands. I mean, this could be anything. The numbers have been really weird out here. It's a lot of mineralization, I think, and that's led to some pretty strange numbers, so I won't even hazard a guess at what it is. Oh, I see something. Oh, so this is what I was telling you guys about on the way in. Lots and lots of lead splatter. We're not even by where I think they heated it right now. Let me see. I identify it by a big depression in the ground. And of course I'm guessing, but I think that's where maybe like a furnace was or something like that. But I found 3 or 4 blocks of raw lead so far. And now I just got this, looks like a splatter melt. So we're gonna keep looking for the good stuff. Well, the only thing interesting about this target was that it was a solid 25 and it did not change. I usually like those because they can oftentimes be a very intentional shape. So something, you know, not like a broken piece of trash or a crumbled up piece of can or something like that. But the camera's rolling, so I'll probably be wrong. Let's see. Just for those that don't use a legend on the regular, solid 25 is a nickel signal and all the other crap that goes into nickels. So let's see what we got here. Am I going to be able to see it without the pinpointer? No. Man, I can't stand it when, look at that. It is a coin. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It looks nickel sized. I see something on it. Can y'all see something on it? I was about to start dogging on. Oh, I think I see a shield. Do I really see a shield? Will that be my second shield nickel out of here? There we go. I was just about to say, I don't like it when YouTubers leave their probes on. Oh my goodness. What is it gonna be? What is it gonna be? Did I see a shield? Nope, I saw a regular old Jefferson face. Oh man, what a heart stopper. Oh, disappointment of the year. That's saying something because it's December and the year's almost up. You just don't expect to find stuff like this out in the middle of a field that's been around for a couple hundred years, but of course it's been used for the entirety of the couple hundred years, so stuff like this happens. I bet it's a rare kind of Jefferson. That absolute heartbreaker of a Jefferson was right there. I'm about 4 feet away. And I got a so-so signal Jefferson. Nickels come up at about 25, and I got a 21, 22. Not thinking much of it. Still a little disappointed by the Jefferson shenanigans. And then I pull out this. The front didn't make me think right off that it was super old, and then I started seeing the dimples and turned it around, and we got full shank. Look at that. Maybe one of y'all can get on there and tell me about shanks. I've heard people... Man, I'm gonna have to get better at this camera stuff, you guys. I'm sorry I keep taking the things out of frame and out of focus and stuff, but anyway, I've heard people talk about different shanks and welded on shanks and all this kind of stuff, and if anybody wants to get on and school me on a quick tutorial on welded on versus however else they attached and what to look for, that'd be awesome. But that looks like an old shank. If I've understood YouTubers correct, and YouTubers are always right, when they're just chunked on like that, that's old stuff. So that's pretty cool. Let's find something else cool. Hey, I wanted to show you guys, well, it's been about 5 minutes since I dug the Jefferson right there, and what I did was I was headed this way, went over, came back, found the button, and then decided to try and work this side of the hill. It's a little bitty hill, but just wanted to work it sideways like that. So I went down once, came back, hit the Jefferson spot again, and then started to come up. Got to this spot here, had a 22, 23 signal, and it wound up being this little button. I guess it could be a cuff button, but it's my first was shanked, shank variety button. Come on, phone. Let's see where the shank busted off there. That's round. So that's a first for me. I'll clean it up later a little better and see if it's got any more fancy. But almost more importantly than that, let's see. I'm kind of in the vicinity. You see hole, 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 hole. Been digging here a lot is my point. And I found the depressions because a lot of it has been raw lead, which I think sometimes they call galena. And in my phone, I can kind of make out the depression here. So there's a depression here. Not by this one so much. You can see a hole I dug right there. Not by this one so much, but over here, here's the second depression. I probably got to get a little close for y'all to be able to see it. Okay, so see the second depression right here? Around these two sinkholes, whatever the heck they are, this one in particular has a lot of larger rocks that you don't see anywhere else in the field. And in fact, look at this. Just noticing this. Oyster shells. Huh. But anyways, these two depressions, look back here with me. These are large rocks that the farmer has picked up. All that red stuff on that big rock's my trash. These larger rocks the farmer's picked up, and we're right in the exact same spot. So I think maybe he pulled them from this depression, I don't know. But right around here, coming over to here, coming over to here. It's not where I found my coin, but it is where I find a lot of the lead. And I think my last two flat buttons were back here. Now I've got one, my first flat button today was over there. Second one was down there. So it all seems to revolve around these two depressions, but I can't quite make out what they were. I've guessed some sort of musket ball or round ball, like mini factory, not something official, but something they did on the side. I found a lot of misshapen mini balls, not fired, but just like didn't come out right. A lot of them with the sprue still attached. And so that's why my guess has been that with all the raw lead and the mini balls that I'm finding here, I'm trying to figure out what they were here and how it related to these two depressions. So if anybody knows, there's not four of them. It's not not four corners of anything. There's just these two that are noticeable nowadays anyways. And if they're as old as I think I've been, who knows how big they used to be. I mean, the ground has only settled into these, you know, it's still very noticeable. It's down, I would say, 8 to 10 inches from the surface in the middle of it over the course of however many decades since the last time it was in use. But if anybody knows anything about this sort of setup, why there would be lots of raw lead, molten lead, lead splatters, and two depressions spaced about, 40 yards apart, let me know. I'd be very curious. Thanks. I'll show you guys the next decent find. I got about 2 hours to go. All right, still in the field. Got that much sunlight left. I am still in the vicinity of the flat buttons, the Jefferson nickel, and the depressions and all that. And I'm gonna do a live dig. $32, $34. All right, about there. Let's see how we do. Still in the hole, kind of deep. I'm gonna hit it with the shovel again. Right about here. Grab a big old chunk out of that. Shoot it off to the side. Bad camera work, check. All right, let's grab the detector. And not in the hole. Right there in between those two piles. Give it a go. I'm gonna stand up my detector as is proper and see what we get here for our troubles. Such a bad camera mount. You see it? I see it. It looks like, I can see that shank. Look how pretty that is. Come on, focus up. Look at that little bitty shank. Did I just bust it? I felt something crack. Oh, I did. Glad I had it on camera. Oh, wait. No, I didn't. It's just a funny angle. Man, I suck at camera work. I'm going to have to get the chest mounted GoPro if I keep doing this. Whoa, look at that green. Look at that green. I'm going to clean this up real slow with a toothbrush, and I'll get right back on here. All right. Just going to be a little smooth button, real tiny guy. I don't know what makes a cuff button and what doesn't. But I'm on YouTube, so I'll pretend to know. This is a cuff button. I think you can see it on camera. There's that depression we've been talking about. I'm 10 feet from it. I found yet another button. So something happened here. Don't know what it was, but I'm happy for the history. Just about 7 or 8 feet away from that last button, about 10 or 15 minutes difference, I got a musket ball. Down about, let's see, where's the inches on this thing? Oh, there's the inches. Down at about 5.5 inches. I lost my musket ball, y'all. Did it fall back in the hole? Oh, there it is.
Anyways, this is what I keep finding here. This is what I think was made here. See that crude cut off of the sprue? Oh, come on. Cut it off flat like that. You can see the seam on there too. All right, let's see what we get next. We still got about an hour of daylight left. Should have come straight to the field instead of the schoolhouse. Live and learn, I guess. What a beautiful place. Is it weird that wintertime with no leaves on the trees is my favorite time of year? It's my favorite look. Anyway, let's get to hunting. Let's try another live dig here. Signal is a solid 20. And I don't remember if it was very deep or not. Guess I'm gonna get my take you back to see if I got it out of the hole. Right there. Thing pointer. Or wait, is it? Nope. Nope. That's gonna be another button. Are you kidding me? A busted button? Sorry, I'm not being a very good host. Another flat button. There's shank, or else I wouldn't have guessed it. Nothing on it. Put that right there. See if I indeed broke it. Based on where it was located, I don't think my shovel was around it. And looking at it, it does look like a clean break though, a new break. Uh-oh. Is there anything in me that wants to go hunting for this thing? Not really. It's already broke. I'll take the win. Another little flat button. Jeez, maybe they're not made of lead. I was gonna say maybe they made flat buttons and musket balls, but I can say whatever I want. As soon as this makes it to YouTube, I'm a professional. Cool. You guys are not gonna believe it, but I got another button signal. I don't know what it is yet, but man, that's, I don't know, 5 or 6 buttons on the day. This is making me rethink this site. That's a lot of lost buttons. Maybe this was some Colonial Magic Mike show or something like that, tearing each other's clothes off. I don't know. There's a lot going on here when it comes to buttons. Let's see if we can find this. I'm a bad cameraman. I really need to get a GoPro. I should ask my wife for a GoPro set up for Christmas. All right, let's see. Over there somewhere, can't quite tell where. Let's see what we can do. You know, there's another thing that separates detectorists, other than just whether or not you prop your metal detector up or let it sit on the ground. I always prop mine up. And that is, do you turn your pin pointer on in the air or on the ground so that it calibrates? I always do mine in the air. I don't want it to accidentally calibrate to some nearby piece of metal. I was not showing any of that. To some nearby piece of metal. And then I just realized my entire first video is going to be in portrait mode. But I've had some decent finds, so I'll probably publish it anyway. I know that makes for kind of a wonky looking video, but I'll do better at some point. I found my target. I left it in situ. I think that's cool. I was just thinking though, here in the Midwest, we got so much less history. We got some good history, but we got so much less history than the guys over on the East Coast, the Hoover Boys and Stealth Diggers and Green Mountain Metal Detecting. Those guys' history goes back so much longer than ours. I don't really have to worry about getting accused of planting anything, but here's my, what I think is a musket ball. Let's see. Yes, it is. Musket ball number 2 on the day. Giddy up. Let's get going. We can dig some more holes. Sun is not down. The night is yet to come. That's a stupid thing to say in a video. Let's go. All right, I just popped the plug. 32 signal, 32, 33. Couldn't hear it, so I flattened it with my boot and found it. Haven't uncovered it yet. Let's see what we got. It's also giving me some iron readings, so won't be shocked if it's not what we want. There we go, I see it, I think. We got us another musket ball. That one's ring high. My. See, when I see weird seams in them like this, where'd it go? Where'd they go? When I see weird seams like that, it just makes me think that it was some kind of a reject that they decided to throw away. But again, more musket balls and buttons. But as I uncover yet another button, pretty little thing. You know, the plot thickens. One thing I can't quite make sense of is, what would you call a Magic Mike in colonial times? You know, like, would he be burned at the stake for being magic? These are the kind of deep thoughts that roll through my head, and why I have to get out of the house and get out into nature to kind of clear my thoughts and try to make sense of the world. One button at a time. Wonder if Magic Mike was a happy dude. Let's dig some more holes. Sundown's coming. You guys, this is the most insane day ever. I can't stop tripping over buttons. Look at that guy. Look at that. Thanks a little off center and the, or maybe it's just bent a little bit. I mean, come on. So cool. I've realized what I'm doing wrong, by the way. I'm moving the phone out of the way so that I can see the button instead of just looking through the phone. And that way I don't ditch you guys on the view. Man, I've lost track of the number of buttons, but I'm thinking now that given the size of the farm and the amount of business that he had, Magic Mike made a lot of money here. Colonial Magic Mike. Awesome. All right, we are on yet another target, 2526. Let's see. what we can find here. This? Lead fired musket ball. There's another one right next to it. Let's see what this one is. I'll come back in if it's anything good. All right, that was a heck of a day. Found more buttons in a single day than I ever have, so that was really cool. I'm now over by the pond, and I got the wrap up set up, so I'm gonna turn you around. We're gonna take a look. Okay, let's start over here. I picked this rock up. I don't know much about native. I mean, I am on YouTube, so I know quite a bit, but I hear other people talking about it being worn smooth on one side and having places for fingers, and even the way this is slanted just sits really comfortably in your hand like this. However, I don't know what they would do with this edge. What do you guys think? Is that native? Anyway, that was just random. Found that modern belt buckle, some parts to a clock, a non-functioning lightsaber that I hope to get going again. This is all raw lead. I'm gonna look it up. I think it's called galena. I found these three in a spill. I'm not sure what they are, but I think they're historically important. I've gone ahead and called some museums, and the last one finally confirmed that I am the first one to ever find a spill of these that they know of. They didn't really want to talk to me about what they are. I think it's some kind of a history conspiracy of some kind. My two lone coins, what I think is a wheat penny, and my heartbreaking Jefferson. I don't know if I showed you guys this on camera. It's some kind of a thank you award medallion thingy on the back. It has a thank you note from some kind of children. I haven't cleaned it up well enough to know. Found that in the yard of one of the houses that I didn't really film much in. You guys saw the earring. I think these are from a busted ball bearing out in the middle of the field. The museum also said that I am the only one to find a spill of those ever. I've got 4 musket balls, and then the most surprising part of the day, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shanked buttons. I mean, some of them are broken off, but shank as in the age. Pretty wild. Really great day for me out here. Hope you guys liked what you saw, liked the video, and like and subscribe. If you want to keep seeing these, I'll be out doing a number of different things, but I think that metal detecting is going to make up the bulk of it. And we're going to continue to hit old sites like this of houses that are either really old or torn down, and we're going to see what we can find of what people left behind.